I know you like specific questions, sir. You like speaking in specifics. We've read all the things that you write, so you are a man of detail. But I would like to start with a broader question right now, because we've just, come through many weeks of turbulence in the alliance formations in Tamil Nadu. The chessboard is finally set for the battle. What is S. Gurumurthy's view of the state of play before this big epochal battle, some would say, for power in Tamil Nadu?
Actually, there is a major shift in Tamil Nadu politics from being personality centric on both sides. If you look at the last 15 state elections, it has been fought between very mighty personalities on the two sides. Today, it is actually a fight between parties rather than between leaders. The leaders don't add much value to the respective parties. It is the parties which sustain the leader today. This is a very major shift. This is because the ideological expositions which used to take place through the powerful personalities who dominated the Tamil Nadu politics are no more in the picture. So it is more a political battle than an ideological battle today, which it used to be till Karunanidhi was in the scene. So actually the media is not really noticing it. This is really a surprise for me, because the leaders used to shift public opinion even on a small matter in favor of the parties which they represent. Today, there is no leader of that kind. Of course, both are good leaders for their own parties, but nothing beyond that.
Are you saying that there is no more any requirement for an iconic figure in politics? MGR is no longer there, even though he is referred to quite often by different political leaders. We are in the post-Karunanidhi and post-Jayalalitha era of politics in Tamil Nadu. Are you saying nobody needs to worry about icons?
No.
The politicians are there, that's enough.
I'm not saying that. I'm only saying there is no icons today. An icon may develop.
Is there space for an icon?
There was, for example,
because there is no shortage of people who are trying to do that.
If, for example, there cannot be a sudden icon. If Rajinikanth was seen as an icon, because he was expected, he had created expectations. A large number of people felt that he could deliver us from the two Dravidian parties, which are really mirror reflections of each other, except that ADMK has swallowed the nationalist orientation. The nationalist mainstream in Tamil Nadu is represented by the ADMK. With the result, no nationalist party can really come up. So from deliverance from these two parties is possible only if a very major nationalist movement develops, or if an iconic leader like Rajinikanth had come. Of course, it was an unfortunate thing that he couldn't make it. I wouldn't say there is no need for an iconic leader. The fact is that there is no one today.
Okay. You've said two very, very interesting, tantalizing things, sir. One, on the nationalistic politics and Hindutva and things like that, which I'll come to in a bit. But since you mentioned Rajinikanth, you are someone who is close to him. You are someone who, through this, very suspenseful few months before he finally decided not to make a explicit entry, you were a person who was commenting on it. You wrote many columns about it as well. And he had your ear. I know you are not going to reveal any privileged conversations with him. I wouldn't expect you to. But give us an inside view, Mr. Gurumurthy, of what happened. Why did the superstar, who had given every indication that he was going to make the plunge, what made him finally decide not to?
Actually, no.
You would know that better than anybody else. That's why I'm asking you.
Yes. Actually, contrary to the popular impression, I was not the one who was trying to draw him into politics somehow or the other. This is the general impression that has been created, which is wrong. Actually, I was advising him about how difficult it is to start a party and how a team is needed. No, these are all the areas where he listened to me. And what could be his position vis-a-vis the DMK and the ADMK, what Tamil Nadu needs. For example, the formulation of spiritual politics we discussed for a long time, and then he accepted. So these are my areas of interaction with him. Basically, I always insisted that it is such a tough game, and he has a very difficult and delicate health to manage. There is nothing like easy politics. Politics is so tough and so stressful and so demanding. And for a man whose BP can go up and come down in minutes, which led to the rejection of his kidney, if it happens again, it would be a problem. So I told him one thing. So far as that aspect is concerned, only his doctor and his family and himself can decide. But outside, the impression created was that I was somehow pulling him into politics. That's not correct. I have been his good friend. And he listened to me all right. But I never forced him. It's an unfortunate thing that his health did not permit his entry into politics. He was so deeply committed to doing something in Tamil Nadu. It's only destiny which